I'm over my boyfriend. My mom knows this. So why does she keep inviting my ex-boyfriend to all these family events? I say, Ma, come on. That's my ex. And you know what she says? Oh, honey, he's part of the family.
Hey guys, I'm OP. So I'm just getting married to the love of my life, Damien, very, very soon. But there's one problem, my mom, Michelle, and her obsession with my ex-boyfriend, Keith. See, I met Keith when we were just little children. We went to the same middle school and he was quite popular. He's always been very charming, getting along with everybody. Everyone used to be Keith's friends, even me. Even though I didn't have many friends, he's always been a very mild person who does not like confrontation. When we were juniors, he asked me out. I thought that it was harmless fun and I wasn't very serious about him. But then I found myself going to college with him because we had gotten into the same place, just with different majors. That's when I truly became serious about him. Before this, he had met my mother and brothers, and I had met his parents like you do when you tell your family that you're just friends. My mother absolutely adored him. She would dote on him, and Keith would charm my mom. Soon, my mother began calling him son, and I liked that she seemed to like him, especially because his mother absolutely hated me. Keith comes from a very prim family. He grew up with wealth and with very cold parents who thought people who did not follow their strict rules did not deserve to be in their company. One of the people is me, and I'm a very curvy woman. I smile a lot, and guys, according to them, it's a bad thing. They are all these slim fit people with pale skin, proper manners. Keith's mother never thought I fit in, so it was great that at least we had support from one of our parents. After college, we moved in. After all, we've been dating for 6 years by then, and it was fine. The romance had kind of gotten out of our relationship, but I thought that was the sign that you were comfortable in front of each other, and that most people who have been in a relationship for 6 years went through this. Keith had stopped making any effort at all in our relationship by then. He never took me out on dates or gave me flowers, and he once forgot our anniversary and apologized for it when I reminded him. And that's it. There's no anniversary gift or apology gift, and I've truly started to feel invisible in my own relationship then. But back then, I had truly thought that this was the future of long relationships. How wrong was I? The final straw was when his mother was visiting. She is this snotty person who loves looking down at people, especially me. She criticizes everything I've done with our home. Apparently, sunflowers were too cheery for our house. She didn't like that our house was colorful. According to her, no man should tolerate such decorations. She didn't think that the couch was expensive enough. And I've had enough of her pompous behavior and told her that if she was so worried, maybe she should have bought her son a couch instead. That had not gone over well with her because she had claimed that she had always known that I was a gold digger, dating her son for his money. I laughed so loud, asking her, what money? Keith's father was the worst and never gave his son any sort of money. So what was she even going on about? Instead of taking my side in the argument, Keith just told me to calm down. As if I were the unreasonable one here. I just looked at him in shock for a few seconds, and then I composed myself and politely told him that we're over. I informed him that I would be back to pick up my stuff after his mother was gone and left him alone. When I did get around to getting my stuff, hoping that Keith had not thrown it all out in anger, his mother was fortunately gone. But instead of letting me get my stuff in peace, he decided that it would be the perfect opportunity to propose to me. He claimed that he had brought the ring months ago because he wanted to marry me. But then I told him that there's no way that he wasn't trying to entrap me in an engagement. So I asked him for a receipt, and when he didn't produce one, I had my answer. I was not even heartbroken by our breakup. Our relationship has been slowly crumbling for years now. It felt like I was never in a relationship anyways with him. We were kids when we began, and by the time we should have been going out on romantic dates and giving each other gifts, our relationship turned stale. Honestly, breaking up the relationship, it felt like freedom. So, alas, that was not the last time I ever saw him. My mother has always invited Keith to all our family gatherings, even the ones that she did not host. She would bully her DILs into inviting Keith. So it was so awkward for me to have him around and be doted on by my mother, while his mother caused our breakup to occur. I have 2 older brothers, Harry and Neil, and they, along with their partners, Shannon and Brianna, have always found this weird. I've even asked my mother about it, and she claimed that I broke poor Keithy Ethy's heart and moved on so easily that she could not do that to him. Well, I've been angry at her ever since, but it became unbearable after a year of having broken up with Keith, who was still somehow a part of our family even now. Because I met someone. I met Damien at a lunch party, and he gave off the same impression of being so sophisticated and kind. He has the manners of Keith's family, but without being snotty, somehow. I realized that Damien is just kind and a nice person with manners, without hiding a judgmental and nasty part about him and his facade. And being courted by him made me realize how much a woman deserves to be courted. He's such a gentleman who has an adventurous side as well. He regularly takes me out on dates, pampers me, and never lets go of an opportunity to tell me how special I am to him and how much he loves me. You know, while dating Damien, I realized what I missed out on for years by being with Keith. It all felt like wasted time, and I had to stare at that wasted time at every birthday party or family dinner because my mother insisted that he needed a family. I had delayed introducing Damien to my family because my mother kept Keith around. But within 2 years of dating him, Damien proposed. I accepted. When Damien had gone down on his knee, I knew there was no other man made for me. Damien is my counterpart, and I want to spend the rest of my life with him as a married couple. I told my family about the engagement and organized a small gathering for all of them. I had not invited Keith like I never do. He always gets invited through my mom. But I had thought that seeing that I had somebody else in my life, my mother would not invite him. But she did. It was awkward having Keith, the man I had rejected a marriage proposal from, around the man I accepted a marriage proposal from. It's been multiple gatherings now, and my mother still invites Keith, claiming that he is her son. As if her 2 sons weren't enough for her. My mother would pointedly favor Keith over Damien without even hiding her intent. She once, quote, forgot to invite my own fiancé to my surprise party. He found out when he wanted to throw me a surprise party as well and tried discussing it with Harry. It was so obvious, and Damien got the hint right away. He was just nice enough not to mention it to me, but I know that it gets to him. The real problem, however, began this week. All the wedding invites went out a few days ago and were received by the guest. And of course, I did not invite my ex-boyfriend to my wedding. But somehow it's very hard for my mother to understand why I would not want my ex-boyfriend to be there at my wedding to somebody else. Honestly, even thinking about it makes my blood pressure spike. She claims that if I'm inviting Harry and Neil to the wedding, I should also be inviting Keith. I reminded her that Keith isn't my brother, but my mother just claimed that Keith was her son. I was angry. I almost screamed out that she was my mom. Mine, not Keith's. Keith has his own mother. She took my ex-boyfriend's side in the breakup with her own daughter. Who does that? I'm almost tempted to not invite her to the wedding myself. What the hell is wrong with her? I need your help to understand. Why isn't this clear to her? What am I doing wrong that she just simply won't understand? It's been years and my ex-boyfriend is still loitering around in my family. What should I do to make my mother see some sort of sense? What's up, guys? Oh man, can you just imagine being in a committed relationship and having your mother invite your ex over everywhere you go? That just has to be extremely hard to deal with, and I want to know from your perspective, what would you guys do if you found yourself in this scenario? I'm excited to tell you, I do have 5 updates. That's right, 5 long updates to hop into. And let me just tell you, it gets a little wild. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that button. Guys, here is update number 1. Hey guys, this is Ophelia, and it's been a few days. I posted about my mother not respecting me and always inviting my ex-boyfriend to family events, even after I got engaged. I read through your comments and I do agree that it's time to give my mother an ultimatum. I talked it through with my sister-in-law Shannon and Brianna. I've always just been close to my older brothers and consequently to their wives. I adore them as I would my own sisters, and I respect their opinions very openly. I've confided in them before about my Keith problem. They tried to intervene a few times, but my mother has never paid them any mind. They convinced their husbands to have an intervention with our mom. So, this morning, I found myself along with my siblings and their wives in my mother's house. I thought that the support from the rest of the family would persuade my mother against her unreasonable demands. After all, my mother has always preferred my brother over me. I think it's to do with my being a woman. I don't think my mother likes women very much. It's evident from how she also just dislikes my sister-in-law. Harry told our mother that her demand is highly inappropriate, and having Keith to be present at my wedding would be even more inappropriate. My mother claimed that we were all overthinking it. Keith has always been a part of the family. Neil claimed that he had been a part of the family, not ours. I was just about to say the same thing. My mother did not take this very kind. She just claimed that it's clear that we don't want her to be a part of our life. And there went my plan of giving her an ultimatum of cutting off contact. I was exasperated by her behavior and told her that I had some bad memories with Keith, and that I just wanted to move on with Damien. Well, she reminded me that Keith has some worse memories with me, and yet he's been so brave, oh so brave to show up every single time. I had enough and told her that he wasn't being brave. He was being inappropriate by showing up to his ex's place, and she had been disrespectful by inviting him against my wishes. Things did not go as planned after that because I had begun screaming at my mom, who had begun screaming back at me. It was all counterproductive, and by the end I had enough of my mother's unreasonable demand. I informed her that if she cannot be respectful of me and my fiancé, then there's no need for her to show up at the wedding. And that's when she told me that I would not be this wild and disrespectful if I had married Keith when he had asked instead of finding someone else. She claimed that she had tried to save my relationship with Keith when she had convinced Keith to propose when I had broken up with him. Well, that's been an absolute shock to me. I didn't know that my mother was behind Keith's proposal after all. It was a shock because in the week that I've been away from Keith, I've gone to my mother and cried about the breakup. I was deeply hurt that she had gone behind my back and convinced Keith to propose. It wasn't even Keith's decision. It's safe to say that I'm an even angrier person now at my mom. Update number 2. Hey guys, it's OP again. So 2 weeks ago, I told you that I confronted my mom, who insisted that I invite my ex-boyfriend to my wedding because she thinks of him as her son, and gave her an ultimatum. Well, she's come around and agreed to stop throwing her tantrum. But I think there's something fishy that she's got going on. See, I got that call just a week ago. She said that she would understand that I wouldn't want Keith as a wedding guest from my side. It would make Damien's side of the family ask questions and people would obviously talk. I had not been thinking about that. I just wanted Damien and I to be comfortable at our own wedding. But when she said, it's also correct. Either way, I was really happy that she finally saw reason. However, today's Harry, the daughter of Harry, fell sick, and we all decided to show up to keep her company. It was a very low-key affair. We all had just lounged about in the living room while my niece snuggled against whoever was closest to her. It was just us siblings, my sister and my mother. Oh, Damien had a family emergency and had sent chocolates instead. Neil, he's an amazing cook, and he was just cooking broth for our niece when my mother entered the kitchen as well. She told me that she was bringing a +1 with her to the wedding. Well, I found that highly suspicious, and I told her that she's very transparent. I know that she'll just bring Keith with her, and Shannon and Harry had entered the kitchen as well by now. My mother claimed that she wanted to bring a date to her daughter's wedding. Everybody was just shocked, because ever since our father's death, we didn't know that she was dating. Neil asked her so, and she claimed that she dabbled in the dating scene. Then she gets very defensive about it, saying that this was none of our business and that she was allowed to only introduce her partners when she felt comfortable. I looked at my brothers and Shannon, and they all seemed unsure. But Harry stepped in and told me that if our mother wanted to bring in a date, there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. Following suit, Neil shrugged and resumed his cooking. I felt like I had to give my mother the benefit of the doubt as well. now that my brothers were doing so. But her defensiveness about the questions made me feel so uneasy, but I agreed to let her bring a date at the end, albeit very reluctantly. I don't feel very confident in this decision. My mother is obsessed with Keith, and there's just no way that she won't bring him. She'll probably just say that her date was canceled and she thought it wouldn't be a big deal, and, to go alone would be stupid, so she invited him last second or something like that. Damien thinks that we should give my mother the benefit of the doubt as well, but he doesn't know my mother like I do. Even my brothers don't know her in the way that I do. Ugh. I'll update you guys in a bit. Update number 3. Hey guys, it's Ophelia. 2 days ago. It was my wedding, and a lot happened that day in regards to my mom. To nobody's shock, my mother, she brought her date. It was none other than my ex-boyfriend, Keith. Brianna had slipped in and informed me of the fact before the marriage ceremony even started, and Neil had gone to tell Damien about it. My sisters and brothers were not shocked by the turn of events. They had just hoped that their mother had more sense than she apparently does. My mother claimed that she had simply asked Keith if he would just come as her date, and technically she hasn't lied to us before. But I had had enough of her crap and decided to just completely straight up ignore her. All throughout the wedding, I didn't say anything. Well, thankfully, I had not asked her to walk me down the aisle. Ooh, that was a good thing. Well, I had asked both of my brothers to do so, otherwise I would have to ask her to step down from the position, which I didn't have to do. At least the wedding ceremony, it went relatively smooth. But I was really mad that my mother would bring my ex-boyfriend to my wedding as her date. And like she had said, people did start talking. Some of my friends who knew about my history with Keith began murmuring when they spotted Keith with my mom. And even Damien side of the family got the news even before the reception popped off. At least his parents didn't care about Keith and his involvement. They just congratulated us with happy, bright smiles. When it's time for the wedding photo shoot, my mother wanted to be in the picture with her so-called date. So I just told Harry that I did not want her in any of my pictures, after the stunt that she pulled earlier and her tantrum now. Well, he took care of that. She was mad as hell about it too. But it's my wedding day and I did not want Keith in any of my pictures. We took some pictures of the family, of course, without the mother of the bride, and I tried to forget all about her for the time being, but it was pretty difficult, And Shannon noticed how frustrated I was with my mother. She told me to not worry about her anymore, and Shannon came to rescue and went up to the waiter and tipped him heavily on the condition that he would spill a whole tray of wine on my mother's baby blue dress. I won't forget my mother's scream when that happened. The waiter immediately rushed away before being reprimanded, and my brothers pretended like it was such a travesty that such an incident would even happen. They told Keith to take her back home because she could not attend a wedding like this. Well, he agreed, and he ended up taking her home. The wedding venue, it's 2 hours away, and there was no way that they were going to return in time, and you know what? They didn't. I'm just so grateful for both my sisters and brothers, who were ready to dirty their own hands so I would have the best wedding ever, and I did. After all, I was marrying the love of my life. Even my mother's tantrum could not have erased that, guys. Update number 4. Hey guys, so it's OP, and it's been a few weeks, and I really thought that my last update would be the final update, but yeah. Alas, my mother has stooped even lower in the upcoming days. So, my husband and I have gone to France for 12 days, and during this time period, it has been heavenly. I'd relaxed so much, and we had so much good food and basked in the culture of France. We got to see such a different side of each other that we typically did not see during our busy lives with work. I was shocked to find out that he's fluent in French, but the world tips upside down on the return home. See, it had only been 5 days since our return when I got a text from my siblings and their partner group. Neil had posted a picture of our mother at the bar. See, she was at the bar with Keith, and they were kissing. I'd been shocked and disgusted by what I saw, and I simply could not even believe my eyes. For a few moments, Damien had gotten the same text and had come rushing out of his study to see how I was taking all of this. Well, I was mad. I thought my mother thought of Keith as her son. This is such a ridiculous, unbelievable situation. Soon, Harry and Shannon decided to drop by to see how I was doing, and they found me enraged. I mean, how dare my own mother date my ex-boyfriend, who, by the way, is half her age? And how long has this even been going on? Makes me wonder. I just keep on thinking about them. Had they ever shown these romantic feelings towards each other in the past few years? Was my mother lusting after my ex-boyfriend while she urged him to propose to me? Had she harbored a crush on him when, well, he was younger? This makes me feel sick to my stomach. I had called her to get some information from her, but she had told me that her relationship are none of my business and that we should all stay away from her, especially after how I treated her at the wedding. I asked her how long it's been going on, but she simply evaded my question completely. But I knew I could get my answers from Keith. Keith is such a weak man, and I mean such a weak man. And I was right. He broke down easily and he confessed that they've been hooking up since his last year at college. He kept on apologizing for cheating on me and claimed that it was wrong. But it wasn't anything romantic between them, he swore. I had never felt this angry that he had cheated on me with my mother for 2 years of our relationship. I just felt betrayed by my own mom. So, as a bit of revenge, I posted the pictures of my mother and Keith in all of our family groups and social media chats. Everything tagging both her and Keith in them and telling them, well, when they began hooking up. And then I switched my phone off to complete silence. But guys, I'm in shock. I really felt absolutely betrayed. And, kinda disgusted. My mother claimed that Keith was like her son. All the while, she was hooking up with him behind my back. Can you believe it? Even when we were together? According to the math, my 54-year-old mother had been with my 22-year-old boyfriend. That makes me feel sick to my stomach. Update number 5. Hey guys, it's me. Well, it's been about what? I'd say a week? Yeah, about a week. I swear this one is finally going to be my last update. I sent my mother and Keith's picture to everyone in our extended family about a month ago, and I just thought I would come here to tell you how it all ended. Harry and Neil have completely cut contact with our mom. Just like I have. I mean, they were disgusted to find out all that information I had found from Keith. Even the extended family has mostly stopped interacting with my mom. They think that she's disgusted for dating such a younger man, and even more disgusted that he was having an affair with her while dating me. And the best thing that came out of this situation is that Keith is now ghosting my mother completely. I know this because my mother dropped by to accuse me of stealing her man again out of pure jealousy. I just think that Keith got his way out of the situation and ran as fast as he possibly could go. My mother is kind of going insane because of this too. She has been spamming my sister's phone with messages asking about Keith, like they would somehow know. You know, I'm honestly just glad that I found out the truth in time. If she had been in my wedding photos, I would have been absolutely devastated. She's not my mother in any way, and I just feel so betrayed by all this. I know that we weren't that close, but don't all mother-daughters have this weird distance between them? I mean, you know? Anyways, I had thought that she cared for me, but I'm just glad to find out the truth.
Guys, I want to know what you think about this comment. Some people agree, some people don't. It says, I understand, OP, that you're mad at your mom. But why aren't you mad at your ex-boyfriend? I mean, I understand that you aren't close or anything anymore, but I hate it when the woman is blamed more than the man in such a situation as this. It's both their faults. Both of them betrayed you. He was your boyfriend for almost a decade. Shouldn't you, I don't know, that make it just as much his fault as your mom's? And yeah, it's a good thing that you found out about it in this time. Nobody wants bad memories in their wedding album. I guess I hope both your mother and your ex-boyfriend stay the heck away from you and your husband's life from now on out. I agree with that comment a little bit. Let me know what you guys think about it down below. Do you think the ex-boyfriend is equally to blame as the mom? I mean, he is accepting these invitations, right? Let me know your thoughts, guys, down below in the comment section. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I do these stories every day. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to hit that big subscribe button. And of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.